Presentation and idea delivery skills. The art of turning thought into the power of persuasion. Great ideas don't get accepted naturally. People with deep knowledge are not always the ones who get heard. In a world full of competition, where every individual and organization is striving to assert themselves, the ability to present and deliver ideas becomes a vital bridge that connects your thoughts with the hearts and minds of others. Imagine having an outstanding solution, a breakthrough idea, but not knowing how to present it. That idea would be like a precious gem buried in the desert, beautiful, but useless. On the other hand, a simple idea, when delivered clearly, persuasively, and with emotional impact, can turn into reality, earn trust, attract investment, and be brought to life. So, what exactly are presentation and idea delivery skills? Why are they so important? And how can you master them effectively? Don't let your ideas die in silence, just because you're afraid to speak. In life, how many people have sat in front of a blank page, their minds full of ideas, but never dared to share them? How many hold outstanding solutions, groundbreaking innovations, but choose silence for fear of being judged, misunderstood, or lacking the confidence to speak up? And then, day by day, month by month, year by year, those ideas rot away in their minds, like a flower that never blooms, like a dream that's erased before it can even take shape. It's a tragedy that we don't fail because of a lack of talent. We fail because we lack the courage to express what we believe in. You may be someone who thinks deeply, sees further than others. But if you don't know how to present, if you can't clearly and persuasively express your ideas, then that brilliance remains a light no one else can ever see. In today's world, where everyone is racing to make an impression in just seconds, silence is the greatest waste of a capable mind. You cannot afford to let shyness, fear, or lack of skill turn you into a bystander in your own game. If you don't speak up for your ideas, someone else will lead the way, even if they're less capable than you. Don't let others speak on your behalf. Don't let your abilities gather dust simply because you don't dare to stand up. Develop your presentation skills, because it's not just about saying what you think, it's about asserting yourself, reclaiming your voice for all the hard work and thought you've poured into your ideas. A smart person isn't the one who thinks the most, it's the one who knows what to say, when to say it, and to whom. And that skill, no one is born with it. It must be learned, practiced, and mastered through the courage to face your fears. If you truly want to break through, to step out of the shadows and be seen for who you are, then start by learning how to present, how to deliver your ideas with strategy, with emotion, and with conviction. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss content that will help you grow, take control of your life, and become the best version of yourself. Presenting is the moment you dare to tell a sincere story in your own voice. Every person has their own voice. That voice is not merely sound from the mouth, but the essence of one's experiences, thoughts, pains, joys, and quiet beliefs. Yet, how many of us truly dare to use that voice to step in front of others, to speak out what we believe is right, to share something that could help others, the team, or a greater cause beyond ourselves? Not everyone is born confident speaking in public. Some have carried shyness from childhood. Some once stood before a classroom, stumbled on their words, went blank, and that moment carved a fear that lingered through their youth. Others were raised in environments that said, if you know, keep it to yourself. Don't speak too much or you'll be judged. And over time, they locked away their voice and no longer dared to use it. But if everyone stays silent, what kind of world will that be? What if Galileo hadn't dared to say the Earth orbits the sun? What if Martin Luther King hadn't stood before thousands and declared, I have a dream? What if you, the one reading these lines, have an idea that could improve how your team operates, how your company functions, how your community connects, but you choose silence? You are denying the world something valuable that only you hold. Presentation is not a skill to showcase oneself. It is an act of courage to take an idea beyond personal boundaries. Everyone has been nervous when speaking in public. Everyone has feared being ridiculed, misunderstood, or failing. But what separates the speaker from the silent isn't the absence of fear. It's the choice to speak despite the fear. And once you understand that presenting isn't about proving you're good, but about sharing what you believe is meaningful, you'll find a sense of ease. You don't need perfect words. You don't need to be eloquent like a professional speaker. What you need is to speak with sincerity. Remember, people don't remember how many words you say. They remember how you made them feel. A presentation that reaches the heart doesn't have to be flawless. It must be honest. Sometimes, a grateful look, a silent nod, a quiet moment of deep eye contact is the audience's way of saying, "I understand you, and I agree." Presenting is a journey where you don't just deliver an idea, you learn how to connect with your own feelings first and then with others. When you speak your ideas with humility, empathy, and the sincere desire to bring value, people will notice, even if they say nothing. Some speakers only need a few words to persuade, not because they speak beautifully, but because they speak the exact truth others are longing to hear. Effective presentation doesn't come from trying to sound good. It comes from understanding your audience. When you take time to think about the people in front of you, what worries them, what excites them, what annoys them, what makes them nod, every word you speak has meaning. You're not forcing ideas into their minds. You're offering them gently and sincerely. Picture yourself presenting an idea to improve a team's workflow. If you simply say, "This method is more efficient," you may face resistance. But if you begin with a story, "Last week, I got a message from a colleague at 11 p.m. because our system failed. At that moment, I wondered, is there a way to ensure no one has to go through that again?" Suddenly, it's not just an idea. It's a felt concern turned into a solution. When you dare to speak, you're planting trust. When you speak from the heart, you're opening a door for others to step into your inner world, where your message isn't just made of logic, but also compassion. And nothing reaches the human heart faster than a heart that is already open. That's why presenting should never be a performance. Don't try to be someone else. Don't memorize every word and gesture. Let your talk be a natural flow of your experiences, reflections, and meaningful intentions. And don't be afraid if you forget something, say the wrong word, or get a tough question. Because presentation is a dialogue, not a monologue. Let your audience feel you're learning with them, not preaching to them. When you say, "That's something I'm still exploring," instead of pretending to know everything, you become approachable. You create connection. Every person has something valuable to say, and maybe you've never been encouraged to speak. Maybe you were laughed at once and it stuck. Maybe you still carry the belief that you're not the type to speak publicly. But know this, presentation skills are not only for extroverts, they're for anyone who has something worth saying. And I believe you have something worth saying. Start small, share with friends, speak up in a small meeting, record your voice, and listen to it. Each time you push a little past your fear, you're getting closer to a more confident version of yourself. Each time you say aloud something you used to keep inside, you make this world richer and more nuanced. So if you have an idea, don't let it fade away. If you have something to say, learn to say it clearly, at the right time, in the right way. You don't have to sound perfect. You just have to speak the right truth from a real place within you. A good idea will be forgotten if it's not presented properly. In a meeting room filled with dozens of people, you stand up, hands slightly shaking, eyes scanning your presentation slides. You've spent the entire week preparing this talk, from the content and visuals to the way you want to express it. But just a few minutes after you sit down, the room returns to its usual buzz, and people's eyes no longer remember what you said. That feeling is frustrating, not because you didn't try, but because you didn't leave an impression. The truth is, no matter how valuable an idea may be, if it isn't presented clearly, engagingly, and to the point, it will quickly be forgotten. In a time when people are overwhelmed by information every hour and every minute, the key is not just what you know, but how you present it. Many people fear public speaking because they believe they don't have the gift of communication. But in reality, presentation isn't a talent, it's a skill. And like any skill, it can be learned, practiced, and refined if you truly want your ideas to reach others. A good presentation doesn't mean speaking a lot, speaking fast, or using flowery language. An effective presentation has a clear structure, accessible content, balanced emotion, and a specific purpose. It's like leading the audience through a journey, starting with a problem, proposing a solution, explaining why that solution works, and ending with a clear call to action. Just like telling a story, a strong presentation needs an engaging introduction, something that makes the audience want to keep listening. That could be a relatable scenario, a thought-provoking question, or an honest personal share that they can see themselves in. Don't start with generic phrases like, "I would like to present." Start with something that makes your audience feel like you're speaking directly to them. After the opening, the main content should unfold in a logical sequence, with clear highlights and smooth transitions, and above all, it must be tailored to the audience. If you're speaking to a group of engineers, avoid abstract generalities. If you're speaking to customers, don't overload them with technical jargon. Speak their language. See things from their perspective. Show them you understand them. What makes people remember most is not dry theory, but specific stories, visual cues, and sincere emotion. A close-to-home example can be more powerful than 100 lines of analysis. A simple chart with a clear point can earn more nods than a screen full of data. Another essential element of idea delivery is confidence and a spirit of connection. Make eye contact with the audience. Use your gaze to communicate, not just your screen or notes. Let your body language support your words. A gentle nod, open hands, natural movement. These all help the audience feel that you're truly present and that you respect them. But confidence doesn't mean performance. Many people confuse being confident with being theatrical. Presenting is not about acting. The audience doesn't need you to be a host or a speaker. They need you to be honest and clear. Sincerity always touches the heart more than a polished act. One more crucial thing: practice. No one becomes a good presenter overnight. You have to practice speaking again and again. Record yourself, stand in front of a mirror, or ask friends for feedback. Each round of practice will help you notice what's not working, what sounds too long, what's repetitive, what lacks logic. Through that, you'll gradually turn a messy thought into a coherent, persuasive message. Sometimes, your presentation won't bring immediate results, but clarity in the way you deliver ideas plants a seed in the audience's mind, and perhaps days or weeks later, they'll remember you when an opportunity arises. An idea that's well presented lives longer. Presenting isn't just for people who speak for a living. Whether you're a student, an office worker, an engineer, a teacher, or a business person, if you want to change something, persuade someone, or share something meaningful, you need to learn how to say it strategically. Because in a world where so many things are pouring into people's ears every day, you can't expect them to just understand you. You must be the one who helps them understand. You must be the one who tells your story clearly, sincerely, and purposefully. And to do that, there's no other way than to build your presentation and idea delivery skills. Skills that, if mastered, don't just help you get heard, but also earn you respect and trust. Your attitude, when presenting, determines 70% of your persuasive power. You may have prepared your content meticulously. Your slides might be beautifully designed, logical, and visually engaging. You might have rehearsed multiple times to memorize your flow and delivery. But if your eyes show no confidence, if your words carry no emotion, and if your presence lacks sincerity, then your presentation, however technically perfect, will still fail to touch the hearts of your audience. Because beyond content, people feel your attitude before they truly hear your message. Do you truly believe in what you're saying? Do you genuinely hope others will understand, accept, and apply your ideas to improve their lives, work, or community? Or are you just getting the presentation over with to fulfill a task, to score points, or to check off a requirement? Attitude is something you don't have to declare. People will sense it immediately. When you present an idea with eyes that shine with conviction, with a voice that carries warmth and care, and with a posture that stands strong, not stiff, but grounded, your audience will instinctively connect with you, even before they fully grasp your message. On the other hand, if you fumble with your notes, avoid eye contact, or speak in a monotone as if reciting a script, then no matter how good your idea is, it will be difficult for your listeners to stay engaged. When presenting, you're not just sharing knowledge, you're transmitting energy. Listeners resonate with you when they sense that you believe in what you're saying. And that energy doesn't come from shouting or dramatic words. It comes from honesty, inner belief, and respect for your audience. There's something important to understand. Attitude is not a performance. You cannot fake your way into being a good speaker by mimicking someone's expressions, gestures, or style. Audiences are sensitive enough to detect when someone is forcing it, and nothing discredits a presentation faster than a disingenuous presence. So what kind of attitude is appropriate? First is humility. Whether you're speaking to colleagues, students, customers, or an executive board, humility always makes you more listenable, not because you lower yourself, but because you give the audience a sense that you're not here to dominate, not here to prove you're better. You're here to offer something of value with full respect for the people in front of you. Humility shows in your attentive eyes when someone challenges you, in your calm smile when unexpected issues arise, in your willingness to say, "I'm also still learning about this." When you're truly humble, people are more likely to support, protect, and trust you rather than resist you. Next is clarity and assertiveness in your voice and manner. Presenting doesn't require yelling or speaking nonstop, but it does require decisiveness. Someone who speaks too softly, hesitates frequently, or keeps using filler words like or like, may unintentionally reduce the audience's trust. They may begin to think, maybe even you don't fully believe what you're saying. Assertiveness appears in how you pause and transition, in your intentional pacing, in your steady voice and eye contact. It tells people, you've prepared, you believe in what you're presenting, and you deserve to be heard. Third, a positive attitude is always a powerful asset. A gentle smile, an encouraging tone, the way you invite your audience to participate. These small details make the presentation environment more pleasant and open. People become more receptive when they feel safe and inspired. Even if you're presenting about a challenging issue, approach it with a constructive mindset. Avoid blaming, complaining, or criticizing. Instead, focus on solutions and hope. Your audience isn't looking for more negativity, they're looking for strength and clarity. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, there's the attitude of gratitude. Always remember, others have given their time to listen to you, even if just for a few minutes. And time is precious. When you present with gratitude through eye contact, sincere thanks, a respectful nod, you can deeply move your audience. A presentation isn't just a task to complete. It's an opportunity to share value, to express your beliefs, and to form deeper human connections. And the biggest difference between someone who merely speaks and someone who truly persuades is attitude. You might not speak perfectly. You may still be learning. But if you carry the right attitude, you will always have space to grow, to be heard, and to reach that moment when people fall silent, not because you speak loudly, but because they truly believe you. Presentation is the journey to reclaim your true voice. As children, we didn't hesitate to speak our minds. When we wanted something, we raised our hands. When we were curious, we asked questions. When we liked something, we said it out loud. But as we grow older, we become more silent. We begin to fear being wrong, being judged, or not being understood. Gradually, many of us lose the most essential tool to connect with the world, our honest voice. That's why the skill of presenting and expressing ideas is not merely a technique to work more efficiently or look more professional. It is truly a key to reconnect with the values that live deep within you, to give you the courage to speak what you believe in, and to share with others the things that may lead to meaningful changes in your work, your relationships, or even in society. Because every person carries unique observations, experiences, and emotions. But if you don't know how to express them, or if you're too afraid to speak up, then all of that will remain buried. In that sense, presenting is the moment when courage becomes language. It is when you stand in front of others not to perform, but to share. Not to be praised, but to be understood. Not to prove you're better, but to inspire. To speak truth and to connect, heart to heart. To do that, you don't need to be an eloquent speaker. You don't need the polished skills of a professional presenter. You simply need to understand what you're saying, believe in it, and speak with clarity, sincerity, and care. A great presentation isn't necessarily one that earns applause. It's one that leaves people in quiet reflection. Not because you were brilliant, but because you gave voice to something they had always felt, thought about, or longed for someone to express. At that moment, presenting is no longer about words. It becomes a bridge between people. You can begin with small steps. Speak up in a group discussion, share your thoughts in a team meeting, or simply express your opinions more clearly in everyday conversations. Each time you dare to speak a little more clearly, you're building your confidence. Each time your message becomes a little more coherent, you're expanding your influence. And each time you're truly listened to, through a thoughtful gaze, a gentle nod, or even a silent pause, you are reviving the voice that once hid behind fear. We cannot expect others to understand what we keep buried inside. We cannot expect our ideas to be implemented if they only exist in our minds. We cannot create impact if we don't learn to present, to share, and to persuade with both respect and authenticity. And the beautiful truth is this: no one is ever too late to learn how to present, and no one is too awkward to express ideas. As long as you begin, stay consistent, and remember why your voice matters. You'll grow not only in speech, but also in how you live and connect with the world. Because in the end, presentation is not just a speech, it is a way of life. A life that is more intentional. A life where you take ownership. A life where your voice matters, and where you take responsibility for what you say. If anything in this message resonates with what you felt, experienced, or hope to improve, consider leaving a like as a sign of connection. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to receive more meaningful content that helps you grow your skills, expand your perspective, and live true to your values. Because everyone has something worth saying, and the world genuinely needs to hear you. You just need to be brave enough to speak.